What I'm going to show to you in this particular video is going to actually shock you. I did a series of experiments on the PTE Respond to situation, and the results were shocking but very promising. So what you are going to uncover in this particular video are all the proven methods to get a full score in the PTE Respond to situation in the real PTE exam. So like and subscribe and watch it right till the end. Hey everyone, this is Anurag here from Edutrainex PTE. I hope you all are doing great. With the series of experiments that I conducted for PTE Respond to situation, you are going to find out the truths behind this PTE speaking task. And you will soon understand or realize that this is such an easy question to get a 16 out of 16 in the actual exam. However, you do need to be mindful that do not try to repeat these experiments that I'm going to show you on the uni websites or the alpha websites or whatever, because those are not the real PTE websites. They do not have the real PTE AI. If you want to get a very close and accurate scoring of your Pearson speaking questions, then you can try it on the Edutrainex AI. So we do offer live classes and full training on the PT exam as well. If you WhatsApp us or Telegram us, you not only get the unlimited classes, but also get access to the app where you get those kind of detailed feedbacks that can help you master the speaking, writing, reading and listening modules. And if you're already preparing from somewhere else and you just need a little bit boost to your exam, you can explore the priority and the VIP membership plan. In the priority, you get the most repeated questions that are coming in the exam for both core and academic. And in the VIP, you not only get the repeated questions, but also you get the vocabulary list focused on reading, spellings list focused on your listening and writing, grammar ebooks, templates, and exclusive access to videos as well. So like and subscribe and let's start exploring what those experiments results were. The first experiment that I'm going to talk to you about is the 30-second warm-up rule. Now let's explore what this technique is actually. The aim is to maximize our preparation time that we get for this particular question. Now in Respond to situation, before the audio begins, you only get roughly 3 seconds, 4 seconds, that's it. But while the audio is being played, you get around 15 to 20 seconds, and after the audio finishes for academic and UKVI, you get roughly 10 seconds. So if you add it up, you get close to 30 seconds, 33 seconds, roughly like that. So what I did, I actually was listening. In the first experiment, I was actually listening to the audio, and at the same time, the text was also in front of me. And once the audio was finished, by the same time, I also finished reading the text that was given to me. And that resulted in only me having only 10 seconds to prepare for what I need to speak about. What happened as a result was I was able to speak a response, but the response was not enough. So I made fumbles and there was no enough preparation time, which resulted in my fluency scores going down. So because I was not prepared well, because I was also listening to the audio, how we can maximize the warm-up time. So how we can maximize the preparation time in order to be very effective speaker in the exam. Now there are multiple more scenarios that I'm going to cover. You just need to hold on a little bit more. In the second scenario of the same situation, what I did was I ignored the audio part completely. So whatever audio is being played, I discarded that. I just started reading. As soon as I saw the question in front of me, I just started reading, which is skim reading or fast reading. I was able to explore all the important keywords and what is the actual gist or actual matter of this particular situation, what is being asked from me. So what resulted because of this situation is that I identified that this particular audio that is being played for this question is a distraction, and what I need is all in front of me in terms of notes, what I need to read about. But I still needed some time, and in total I was able to maximize my preparation time, which is the warm-up time, to close to 30 seconds. I was well prepared for the question, and this resulted in me visualizing exactly the situation that is happening, and I was able to speak more freely, more fluently, and I got a very good score because of this. So that was the number one experiment that you should be all aware about. And you also need to discard the audio part and only focus on the notes that is already in front of you. Prepare yourself properly. The second one is even more interesting. In the second approach, what I followed was the 3-step framework or the 3-step formula, how I have to structure my response. Okay, again, I attempted the questions in multiple ways, one without the structure, one with the structure, and what not to include in the structure and what to include in your structures as well. So you will know what works in the exam and what does not work in the exam. So let's understand the 3-step framework or the formula first, what we need to do. And the goal over here is to avoid hesitation and speak normally in order to deliver a fluent response. So I started with a greeting. acknowledging the situation. So the first one or two sentences were started with the greeting and then straight away acknowledging the situation. Then I moved on to the reason or action related to the situation. So actually I was responding to the situation at that part. First part is the situation itself. The second part was responding to the situation, and the third part was ending the note or ending the conversation in a polite manner, thanking him for listening or thanking him for granting me something that I was requesting for. And that was the framework that I followed, 3-step formula. Let's see what happened when I did not follow this approach, when I did not prepare about any of this structure. So in the first approach, I did not start with a greeting. I did not address the situation, and I didn't even talk about the solution. Whatever was just there, I just spoke a little bit here and there. The end result was that my response finished within 20 seconds, below 20 seconds. And you know what happens if we do not speak enough content. If we do not speak enough content, then it will go for human review, human evaluation, and they will give you penalties for not speaking enough or not covering your content in a fluent manner. So that was similar scores that I witnessed when I did not speak enough. What this structure is actually helping you to give you a structure, the way to speak. Now what happened after I recognized and identified that this is the structure I have to speak, and the results were very, very astonishing, very, very promising. So I followed this structure and I was able to speak more than 30 seconds, and my response was very fluent and the scores reflected that. So what I did was started with a greeting like hello professor or hello supervisor, whatever the role is given to you, and then straight away went on to identify the situation. Today I want to talk to you about, and then identify the situation that we have been imposed with. So that was the first two sentences that I said, and then connected several things that were mentioned in the body, and then ended politely. Thank you for listening to me and giving me an extension for my essay. So something like that was followed in the proper approach, which resulted in huge differences in the amount of fluency and the overall scores. So this is the technique that you have to follow in the exam. That was the experiment number 2. Now things will start getting more interested now, because I'm talking about the connector boost challenge. Okay, so what you can think about, two sets of responses. One is completely disconnected, whereas the other one is connected. Now the goal over here is to enhance the coherence or the connectivity or the fluency, or you can just say smoothness. When we are talking to someone or to anyone, any spoken speech, we do not start with a greeting, or you do not address the situation, or even in the body part. If you just keep on speaking sentences, I want to talk to you about this, I also wanted to talk to you about this, I also wanted to talk to you about this, or I wanted to talk about, you are just repeating the same things again and again without using any connector. So first of all, what is a connector? Connectors are used to make your response smoother. So as I said, today I wanted to talk to you about something, you use at the beginning. At the end, you use thank you for listening to my request, or thank you for granting my request related to so and so, whatever was mentioned in the situation. And in the body part, we use several connectors. Actually, by the way, also, additionally, later on, okay, you don't need to include the formal, keywords or the linking words like moreover, furthermore, on the other hand, on all those sort of things. You can keep it casual because this is conversation based question. But when I did not use any of the connectors and I listened to it myself, first of all, I was not able to speak more than 25 seconds. The response finished before that. These words also give you some extra time. And this structure also gives you extra time to finish at least about 25 seconds. And the target, what we have, is to get close to 30 seconds. So these words will actually help you to boost the amount of words that you are speaking, and not only boost the amount of words, but also help you to get the scores for the fluency part, for the vocabulary part, implicitly marked. All right. So when I attempted it without using any kind of connectors, just speaking, not even greeting, today I want to talk to you about this. Also, we need to discuss this. We also need to discuss this. Similar sentences, no connectors whatsoever, and then I just finished abruptly, not even thanking or ending politely or see you later, nothing. Those sort of things were included, and that resulted in, again, very, very low scores. But on the other hand, I just followed the same 3-step framework that I discussed with you now, connected my response with proper connectors that I showed you. You can actually use the same ones in the exam. There is no problem with that. We are going to talk about the template as well. Okay, so don't worry. Yes, we can use the template, and the template already have these connectors, so you don't need to worry about it. But if you are actually just randomly speaking the phrases that are given to you, then you are faced with multiple challenges, which is the core topic of my next experiment. Read as it is. Many people follow this technique where you get the text and you are just reading from whatever is given to you. Now there are two sets of problem which I told you, but the goal over here is to enhance the fluency part and also enhance the content and the scoring part, because you are covering everything that is given to you. So you are thinking that, okay, I will speak enough, I'll get more points for content, and fluency also I will be able to maintain because I'm just reading the text as it is. As it is, what happens is there is a catch over here. If the question over here, very next slide I'm going to show you, if the question has very less amount of text, then what happens is you are only speaking less than 20 seconds. You're not able to cover anything else other than repeating the same thing again and again. And that too, why the scores are lower? Because the question itself is given in the second person, like you. I is the first person, you is the second person, he or she becomes the third person. So you over here is actually I. So if you are reading it as it is, okay, the timer begins and you start reading. You have an essay due tomorrow, but you have been feeling sick for the past 2 weeks. You went to the clinic and got a doctor's note. You feel better, but you have to ask your professor for an extension over the weekend. You go to your professor's office. What do you say to him? You can time it. It will definitely be less than 20 seconds. And this is exactly a true copy of what the question was. So straight away, this will be detected by the AI. And as I said, human evaluation exists in this question. If your question is flagged by the AI, the human is going to penalize you. And this kind of response will definitely see very, very low scores. However, we did see a change when we modified some words and converted it into first person, which is I. So I started with a greeting. Okay, I started with a greeting. Hello, professor, because I know I'm going to talk to a professor, at least some decency over there in my response. So I said, hello, professor. I have an essay due tomorrow, but I have been feeling sick for the past 2 weeks. I went to a clinic and got a doctor's note. Now I feel better, but I have to ask you. Over here, you can fumble as well because you're professor. So you have to say, I have to ask you. You don't say, I have to ask you, professor. Or I have to ask you for an extension over the weekend. And I'm here in your office to talk about it. So you at least have to modify some bits to it. Last two sentences were in the question form. You go to the office and what do you say? So you say, I am in your office and I am here to discuss about it. Okay, so it will still have a decent amount of score. Why? Because at least you started with a greeting, you followed the proper way of response, and then in the end, you also identified the situation what you are in. However, why this type of response will not give you a full score? Because you are missing the response or the solution part of it. So the response or the solution part is actually missing. What exactly are you going to say to him is not mentioned in your response. So you actually go there with the doctor's note asking for an extension, and then you will say that I will be able to submit my assignment or my essay within a couple of days as soon as I get better. That is the solution that you need to add, and that is missing from this response. There is another super big difficulty with this kind of experiment that we conducted in the exam and this kind of approach where you are reading as it is. Okay. If someone is smart enough to add one line as a solution in this approach, then your scores will rise from medium to a very decent level of score. If you are following this approach, reading as it is, but if you append in the prefix side, before you append a greeting, you say it as it is, and then in the end you also add a line exactly to address what would you say to him, to ask for an extension and thanking him. If you do that, reading as it is can work in the exam. I have tried it myself, and that's what you can also do it if things are looking difficult for you, especially for the respond to situation question. Now, what is the main challenge? And if you follow that, you will be able to cross roughly around 25 seconds for sure. 20 seconds when you are reading the text, when you add the greeting, add another sentence, then you will definitely cross 30 seconds, which is the actual target. You will get good points for content, structure and everything, and then you will also get good points for fluency. Okay, so that is what the target is, but the problem over here is when you are reading as it is this kind of question, where there is only one sentence given to you. Your computer is broken and you can't attend the online class. How should you tell your professor? Now, what exactly are you going to do it? If you get this kind of question, and I tried with one of the questions that I had of this type, The response was not even 10 seconds or 15 seconds, because what you end up doing is you are repeating the same thing again and again, 2 to 3 times, and then you will also get fed up. I don't have anything else to talk about. So just end this response and let's move on to the next question. But you don't get too many questions of respond to situation in this type of scenario. So the idea is to maximize scores. Even when you are getting one line as a question, how can we maximize scores? The technique over here is, or the helpful thing that will help you over here is a structure or a template where you have less wordings, but at least you will get all the structure that you needed to do. And even over here, you are repeating the phrase, maybe you are paraphrasing some of them, or you are adding something related to it. So the first thing first is, if you read it as it is, the scores are disastrous. The score is very low, and 100% if you speak lower or just repeat the same thing again and again, it will go for human evaluation and they will not like it. They will give you 0 scores, very, very low scores. And that will affect your overall speaking scores as well. So what you need with this kind of responses is at least improvise. Okay, you still do your reading or whatever approach you are following, reading as it is, but you have to improvise a little bit to add some structure, some solution. So the warm-up time, the first experiment, the warm-up time that I told you about, roughly 30 seconds, that is the time you have to think about some vocabulary. Now look at the question. Your computer is broken and you can't find online class. So it is talking about an online class attending with the professor. So what you can talk about is computer is broken down, maybe it has fallen down, or how you are fixing it. You have contacted the engineer or you have contacted the mechanic who is going to fix it within a couple of days. Or online classes is also there. So you can talk about, I'm not able to attend the online class, so maybe I will watch the class recording and I will make notes from it. Or you can ask the professor for an extra class if you can give me an extra class, or I will go to my friend's house or go to my neighbor's house for internet, for computer. Add something related to the question that is being asked. Okay, so that is the warm-up type, 30 seconds warm-up time. The 30 seconds that is given to you is very, very useful for this type of question. You have to think about, if that helps, just scribble down some of the words that you want to use, like friends, recording. Just scribble down short, keywords related to what extra things you need to talk about. So once you are finished, whatever is given in the question, then you can also talk about, okay, friends is noted. So, sir, I'm going to my friend's house to attend the class from there. Or maybe I can also contact my neighbor to get his internet and a laptop. And if nothing works, then I can probably watch the online class recording, and then that will help me to prepare my notes. So just 3 words I noted down, but I was able to talk about 3 different things. That will give you enough content to cover 25 to 30 seconds. And in the end, just finish it with, thank you for listening to me, and I hope you will consider my request related to my computer problems. Okay, that's it. Finish the response. So as I said, you can use templates or you can use reading as it is technique as well. Both are working in the exam, but reading as it is technique is little bit difficult in these scenarios when you have very less amount of text, and then you need to optimize, you need to improvise. What happens to some people? They are not able to improvise randomly in the exam when they get this kind of question, and what they end up is either fumbling because of nervousness, because what shall I do, what shall I speak, and just end up in repeating the same sentences multiple times and submit the response. So they get a very, very bad score for that question. So better approach is prepare for both the scenarios. You also keep a template in your mind that this is the structure I'm going to follow. If I get this kind of question, I'm going to use that. Otherwise, whatever I am following is working perfectly fine. I'm pretty much sure after watching this video and the set of experiments that I conducted on the real PTE exam is actually going to be beneficial for you, and you can take the PTE respond to situation and make sure you are getting 16 out of 16 points for this task, the full score that you can get. And in the meantime, we also do provide live classes, training, full unlimited classes with app access, portal access, all the benefits. Just WhatsApp us or Telegram us. And if you're preparing on your own, you just need a little bit big boost. Do explore our YouTube priority and VIP memberships for repeated questions, vocabulary list, grammar, ebooks, whatever you need. And do not forget to watch the video that we recently made on repeat sentence. If you have memory problems, how to still get a full marks in repeat sentence, do watch that video. Keep watching Edutrainex, and I'll soon be back with another super informative video on PT topics. See you soon.